Hennessy, join it goodbye, know what I mean?
Fuego, 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 fuego. Fuego. Fuego.
Yo, Wagwan people, Pulala Master here, and welcome to another exciting episode of The Catch Up. And today I have the man himself, young Koded, making a return to the hot seat.
What's up?
Yo, Wagwan, bro.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, what's good, man? Long time, man.
Yeah, it's been about a year since I was here.
Yeah, over here, man. And you've been working since the last time you were here. You've been working collabs and collabs. Dope music from this guy, by the way, check him out on Boomplay and on YouTube, of course.
Yeah.
Man, so since the last time you've worked with Tio Mio for Fuego, you've worked with this chick, what's her name?
Shanti Fine.
Yeah, Shanti, you know. And now you've worked with the OG, man. Mm-hmm. So I want us to start with Shanti, you know, the Shanti collab, you know, to keep under. How did this come about? And I really like the vibe, Cheza and all that.
Yeah, so first time I worked with these guys from Kibera. It's like I've known them for years.
Right.
So I went down there for a studio session because it's a private place. Like in Kibera is like probably the only place where I can find like that privacy. Everywhere else is just like there's somebody behind me who wants to like use the space. So booking a space is always difficult to book on a big studio. So I either use Studio 360 or I use Hitbox.
Oh, nice.
So it's owned by Danville. So I called Danville. I'm like, hey, I need to come to the studio. He's like, hey, just come through. And with them, he always kicks everybody out. But that day I just went in there. He had a video shoot, so he was not in the studio. I walk in the studio, so there's this, like, it's a small girl just sitting by the corner.
Still young.
By the reception, yeah. And then she's listening to some music. She was playing one of my songs. Actually, she played one of the songs and then she started watching the interview. So I walked in, went to the studio session, and then she comes and knocks at the studio room. I open up, she's like, hey, my name. Now she introduces herself. It's like, at first I was like, you know, like I was like, who the hell are you? Like, because I didn't know her. She didn't have anything out. Like, she only had like a refix.
A refix to Shamra.
Yeah, so like there wasn't like much going on like in terms of like a catalog that I could look at. So I was like, who are you? So now she introduces herself. She had like a whole lot of confidence. It's just like too much confidence in just a tiny girl. And then she's like, my name is Shanti. And then it's like a whole lot of shame. But she speaks, I understand. I speak, she understands. And then she's like, you got to listen to some of my work. So she only plays the refix. I had already had the original song. So for me, I'm never really impressed with like a duplicate of somebody else's work. But I just listened anyways because it was not. Why not? So after listening to the project, I went in, did my session. It was from 3 o'clock to around 6 in the evening. 6 in the, in the evening. And then I walk out of the studio. She was still there. But now Danville had come back to the studio. Danville is like, hey, this is my artist. Now he introduces Shanti again. He's like, hey, this is my artist. We've been working together. I'm like, she let me listen to some of our work, but she doesn't have a lot of work out. She said, and then Danville is like, we're still working on it. So I was like, okay. So I was about to leave. Danville is like, can you make a beat for her? Because Danville knows I make like fire hip hop tracks. I'm like, okay. So I'll go back in the studio. That's 6. There was curfew. Keep in mind, curfew was at 8. There's 6. So I work on it so quick. It took me about 30 minutes to make the beat.
To the song Cheza?
Yeah.
Wow.
Took me about 30 minutes to make the beat, like start to finish. And then she comes in now freestyling. And then Danville is like, just leave the beat. She's going to work on it. I'm going to let you mix it. I'm like, okay. But then I was about to leave. And then I heard her freestyle like, Cheza, Shini. And I was like, I like that. Can you freestyle? She's like, I don't freestyle, I write. I'm like, freestyle. Because for me, I never write. Like anybody who's been to a studio session that I've been to, I don't write. It's all like just my creative mind. Even if it comes out wrong, I'm going to leave it like that. It's just because that's how I feel at the moment. And then she's like, okay, I'll freestyle. Because I told her, if you don't freestyle, I'll just go. I probably won't be back. Because I told her, you only got me today, so just impress me. She goes on, freestyles on the mic, and that's how we came up with the song. So I wrote that first part. She actually helped me write the Swahili parts. Like, Hini Giza, I think she came up with that line. And then that's because it was in English. I had it in English, and then I was like, "Can you translate it to Swahili?" And then she came up with that line.
Nice.
So we came up with a song, and basically that was it. And then she thought I wouldn't show up for the video. She's like, she has worked with people, but they never show up. I'm like, nah, when I give you my word, I already gave it.
Nice,
So that
man.
was it. She was like excited because Jalango reposted the song.
Yeah.
A lot of people now started identifying her.
We ballin' like Ibiza. Hii giza. Tumekuja kuchachisha.
Cheza chini chini ya maji bado nina dini. Cheza chini ini kali punguza usingizi.
Swap the visa. We ballin' like Ibiza.
So it, man.
Yeah.
Big up, big up. Then Fuego, man. The track Fuego.
I think you already know snippets of the studio session. It was just vibing mostly. I feel like I met Trio a year ago, and I had heard some of the songs that him and the team had worked on, and he's good. So I was kind of interested in working on that. On a project with him. I didn't know it was that one because I had like multiple projects. I had him listen to a bunch of projects, and he ended up because like last time I was here, I told you like I was pushing out old work.
Yeah.
Like nothing new. So he had listened to one of the old tracks, and he's like, I like this one, but it's old. At the time, I didn't feel it. So the day of the studio session came. And he didn't show up because he hadn't written anything. So I was like, okay. So I'm cool with the studio guy. So I just told him like, hey, like let's just reschedule to tomorrow. And then that's what we did. We rescheduled it. And then that night, it was like late at night, like around 10, almost 12. So he texted me. He's like, hey, bro, I'm done writing the song. We'll show up tomorrow around 2, so 2 in the afternoon was going to be like the studio session. I was like, okay. So I was talking to him, and I was like, do you mind if we change the song? So I don't think he was comfortable with the idea at first. I told him, let's just hop in the studio and vibe, because I like that, like starting with fresh ideas, because we're both young. It's good to vibe on something new, because old work doesn't really resonate to me as much anymore. So I made a beat, like it took me about 10 minutes. Made the Fuego beat, sent it to him. He liked it. At first he was like kind of like not into the idea, but he liked the beat. He's like, can you give me a couple more days? So now we canceled the studio session again to the next Friday, which was like a couple days away, because that was on the weekend. We were supposed to have a studio session on Saturday, so we moved it to Friday. So the week went by, Friday came, we recorded. And that was it. I had 2 studio sessions that day. It was, I started off in the morning. It was me and Lexil. So we recorded Find You. And then Chio, me on the team came like whenever we were in the session, and then that was it.
Wow.
Yeah,
and the good thing is like all these songs, you played a huge part in them, you know, from the beat making to everything. Like what's your beat making process like? How did you line these? Because unanishow unaunda beat at 10 minutes, 30 minutes and all that.
Well, like mostly it's like I know what kind of style I'm going for.
Okay.
Like my style is like very distinct, but I know it well. So if I was working with other producers, it might take time, because every producer has his or her own sound. So it just depends on really like the producer. For me, I've gotten my style so like on lock to the point where I can work on it in a matter of like minutes.
All right.
Like I'll be done with the beat.
Cool.
Yeah.
Then right now it's all about Look What You Did to Me, featuring the man himself, the OG, arguably your biggest collabo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk to us about this song, man.
Well, we started last year.
Yeah, I remember when
pitched like a couple of projects.
Yeah.
I think it was like right before the interview, like before our interview. He listened to a couple projects. He liked them. He was like, hey, just talk to, like, he told my manager, talk to that manager so we can plan something. He's like, hey, send through a couple projects. I had a few open slots on a couple of projects. He liked them. So I sent them over. So it was like a little bit like, because I told you my style is challenging. OG is like more like based on the, like, he's like a, how do I say? he's an old school guy, like OG, obviously, you know. So like me coming in with like a new generation kind of sound is a little bit tough on him. So we just had to find like a middle ground, and like at first I had challenges because for me and Afrobeats, it's always been like a challenge because I haven't done much of it. But, you know, like I only have one record that is African, and the rest are just based on like my own type of style. So Vince sends a beat through. He's like, "Hey, OG, like this beat. You want to work on it?" So I listened to it. At first, I liked the beat. I liked the vibe. But then I was like, okay, my vocals like normally need something harmonic in the beat. That's why all my beats have some harmonies around, like inside there. You if you listen closely, you will tell that there is some harmonies, some underlying melodies that just kind of accompany my vocals. So it didn't have that. I asked him, "Can you add that?" I don't think he saw it because they were still working on the album. It's like a very busy schedule.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, OG is working on. He was working on the Invisible Currency album. So it just kind of took time. Like it was a matter of back and forth, like us like having these discussions about does this work? Does it? So actually, I made like I'm gonna say 16 versions of this song.
Wow.
16 versions of this song. I'm probably underestimating that number. But it was about 16 versions of the song. Like I'm making Vince listen to all of them. He's like, okay, this fire. He listened to this one. To the next one, he's like, okay, this fire. And then we just ended up settling on the one that was just like, how do I say it? It just kind of resonated with a lot of people. Because look what you've done to me. It just kind of resonated to what OG was saying. Because the challenging part was the verse. OG's verse was already there.
All right. So
it wasn't like a fresh idea. I had to just figure out what he was talking about. Because, you know, like it's hard to figure out what an artist is actually talking about. Like art is like so complex. You have like over 100 ideas of whatever somebody said in just one line. But then the whole verse is already in there. And then it's just like another empty like part of the beat that I got to work on.
Yep.
So I just asked Vince to send through like the stems to the song, broke it down, added some melodies, and that's how we came up with the song.
Nice, man. Great job, man. Great job. And you've not stopped there, man. You're constantly working, and for anyone who follows you on IG, your stories, this dude is constantly recording. And right now you're recording with Boutro, so I don't know if it's done. I see
it's done. It's probably coming out this week.
Wow, nice, man.
Yeah, it's probably coming out this week. If not this week, definitely next week.
Yeah.
Because I want to release it before I leave Kenya.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you having an EP coming? I saw something like that.
That's part of the EP. Because I was thinking like, okay, now I have different projects. How am I gonna make it like resonate as one? Because I have this ability. Like when I came to Kenya, I had to focus on something that resonated more with Kenya. So it was like more of a challenge, like just trying to figure out what style really to go with, because I can kind of fit in most genres. Some are challenge, but not complicated. It's just a challenge. That's all.
All right.
So yeah, so the EP is just gonna be like dropped as I'm gonna drop them as singles, but they're all the projects I'm gonna be dropping, all the next 5 projects I'm gonna be dropping will be included in the EP.
Great, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the last time we spoke, when you were here, you were kind of not impressed with our music industry and all that.
Still not impressed.
Oh my God.
Still not impressed. I feel like
come on, bro. It's been over a year. We've been working on it.
I feel like it's because I mean, I'm not gonna put it down. You know, it's working. You know, it's working. It's fitting people. But I feel like certain people should be making more than they are because they're big. Like, you know, like me comparing somebody in the underground in the US and they're earning way more than somebody who's like mainstream in Kenya. It doesn't make sense to me, you know. Yeah. So I'm still not impressed, but I'm getting there.
All right.
I'm getting there. I see like the youngins are working, you know. I feel like the industry that changes mostly the youngins. You see like Nigeria. Who do you see in there? The youngins,
bro.
It's the youngins.
Anyway, man, thank you so much for pulling up, bro.
Yeah.
And it's been a pleasure to have you. And like I said before, the man then keeps working. Follow him right now on Boomplay. He has some fire tracks up there. And of course, check out Look What You Did, Young Koded featuring the one and only OG Khaligraph Jones. Have you listened to Invisible Currency?
Yeah, I've been listening to
What's
it.
your take on it?
I feel like he went like he wanted to give us like what he is about like over the time, you know. So it's like more nothing to prove, but more to give.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it.